Hey, welcome everybody back to our final training session for All In. Congratulations, right? You've made it to the end. As a reminder, we want to move our faith into action and to truly love and serve our community. And so our goal has always been and continues to be for you, your small group, maybe even your family, to define its mission and to create a plan to live out how to love and serve McLean County or whatever county you're living in. We want to do these in practical ways. And so this week's focus is literally for you and your group to define your mission, to take the place that you agreed upon last week and build out an action plan that will move you into action. You know, to be honest with you, every part of All In has been leading us up to this moment, to move you into action in steps for the next 6 months. If we're honest, you know, we need to get real for a moment, right? Like in years past, we've gone through these things and we've said, oh, that's a good study, or that was great, or I learned something. But if no tangible outcomes of love and serving emerge from this series, then I think we missed the point. In all honesty, I think we've gravely underestimated the power of the Holy Spirit and the point of a Jesus-following life if nothing comes from our time. Look, I understand kind of the tension that we're feeling right now, right? Going all in seems demanding, feels daunting, but if you look at the first church, the New Testament, they literally had to be jolted out of their comfort zones, out of Jerusalem, in order to live out the mission that Jesus had called them to. And so in a way, this is our turn, right? So there's a couple of questions, Josh, that come to mind. I know you'll answer the second one, but that first question is, now what? Right? And then you'll go after the, how do I get started? But here's our first question, now what? We've defined our first place or our one place. What do we do with that? And honestly, I think one of the biggest obstacles for us as groups and individuals is to literally get started, right? So like in my own life, whenever I was doing a project in school or college, like that first sentence or that first paragraph, that was the hardest one for me. But then once that started to take root, things kind of began to take flow. We see that in small group life as well. Like literally taking that first step might be the hardest one. So we want to help you with that along the way. So for your families, for your individuals, for groups, I'm guessing that you guys have had some great ideas over the last couple of weeks, but now it's time to put it in action. So we literally have this thing called a mission action plan, because here's what we know to be true is that a group on mission knows its place. We hope that you've defined your place. A group on mission knows its people. Who are the people within that place that you're really going to love and serve? And then we also know that a group on mission knows its plan, right? What's your first step? And what's it going to look like over the next 4 to 6 months? That kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's what the mission action plan is for you. So just right now, just so you know this, mission action plan is available on eastviewresources.com. There's a digital version of that. We can have a paper version for you, but we want you to use this as a way to plan out your next steps along the way. So Josh, the second question here, how do we get started? Like, what are some of the insights that you've seen as you've kind of approached, you know, a missional small group?
Yeah, Jason, we've had young adults beginning these processes for the last few months. And like you said, any group project, anything you want to go after, you need to identify a point person, right? So one of the first things you can do is identify who's someone in your group who's going to take charge in leading this mission, leading this thing. So it's not enough for us to collectively come to this. We need someone to own it, get the ball rolling, get us down the field a little bit here. And then with that, let's identify first and second steps with this. So once you've identified who's going to take the lead on measures, let's figure out what those measures actually are. So do you need to contact an organization? Do you need to identify a group or a place within that mission? Do you need to reach out to someone? What does that look like for you to go ahead and begin your mission? And then put some dates on the calendar. So 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 months out, give yourself some deadlines just as some natural checkpoints so that your group and you can go ahead and continue to figure through what this mission is. And then with that, figure out some support. So if I set some deadlines, if I set a point person, let's figure out who in our life can hold us accountable to that mission. So maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend that's praying for you and checking in to say, hey, how's your mission going? Maybe it's even someone within your small group that their whole objective is to make sure that you're moving the ball down the line, because we all need that in our lives.
Very true, very true. You were just mentioning this, but you guys from a young adult standpoint have kind of started this process. And so I'm guessing there are some stories that are emerging. Like, what are you
Yeah.
seeing that would be helpful for us?
Yeah, so like you guys, a lot of our groups are figuring out what their mission looks like right now. So it's exciting to see the buds on the trees here going out a little bit. But one group specifically has decided to love downtown Bloomington. And so what they have done is they moved their group meeting space to downtown Bloomington every week. So sometimes they meet outside, sometimes they meet in a coffee shop or a local business, and they have their typical group time discussions, but then they strategically place their group in a space where they can love and serve the people in downtown Bloomington in whatever way. So if they're at a coffee shop, they may give their credit card to the cashier and say, hey, the next $50 worth of coffee, put it on us. And just to do something kind for someone in that space. They've talked about doing prayer walks throughout downtown Bloomington just to be praying over that community and seeing if God puts anyone in their way. And there's been cool stories of them coming across people in need that they never would have noticed if they had their head down walking past. And then a variety of other things like creating homeless packs and walking around and giving them out to the community. So they've gotten very creative about this little bit of a broader mission of downtown Bloomington and figuring out practical ways that they can love this community.
Yeah, that's excellent. I love hearing that. I imagine that as we get into this, we're going to hear a lot more stories, right? And it's going to progress through along the way. But really, for us right now, we really hope that this has been a great series for you, that you've been challenged both internally but externally, right? But everything really actually begins now. You know, we just said, hey, welcome to the last week. But really now you're starting. We want you to begin to think about it as this is a starting point for your mission, right? And so we want to move you into action in your everyday life. And so the most important outcome of this entire 5-week study is what you're about to do next. And so again, I know we've said this a few times in a few different ways, right? But your next step is to create a mission action plan, literally a map that will guide you and your group toward living your life on mission. And so you can find that again at eastviewresources.com. As you spend time with this in your group time this week, I want you to be specific as you can, right? Write down as many details as you can. Don't settle for what would they say, vague statements, right?
Yeah.
Or just get as detailed as you can, because we don't want this just to be a cool study or a cool experience. We really want this to begin to transform your behaviors in your life into ongoing habits of love and service that will then begin to move us all into that next level of faith. And so as we end these 5 weeks, we begin really the next step in our journey. So I just ask you to just pause for a moment and ask the Holy Spirit to move your heart increasingly towards the mission that He's calling you and your small group towards. Hey, I just want you to know that we're with you, we're praying with you, we're here for support every step along the way. We're super excited to hear the stories that are gonna come. We're excited for you to start your mission.